Hello, I'm Dominique Wolf. Today I'm going to be doing a couple of dishes for you, both with a festive theme. The first is my Kung-Pao style sprouts with chorizo. I actually did this dish on the Great Cookbook Challenge for the Brussels sprouts round, which was my favourite round of the show. And I'm also going to be doing my coconut panettone pudding as well. The Kung-Pao Brussels sprouts is honestly, if you know someone who doesn't like their sprouts, they will absolutely be converted. It's spicy, it's sticky, it's sweet. It's got so many amazing Asian flavours in it. And the coconut panettone pudding, we've got coconut milk, we've got 5 spice as well. Absolutely delicious and both ready in a very short space of time. So first of all, I'm going to prep the chorizo. So I'm using cooking chorizo here. But you can use the dried ring if that's all you can get. Just make sure you adjust the cooking time. What I'm doing is I'm just cutting it into half moons. The chorizo gives this most fantastic garlicky paprika flavour. I was inspired to do this dish by, there's a Chinese sausage called lap chong, so you can't get it that widely, but chorizo is a great alternative. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of oil. You don't need a lot because the chorizo's got this wonderful natural oils. And I'm just going to cook that off like this. And it's going to release that amazing oil, which I'm then going to cook the Brussels sprouts in. And it'll just take a couple of minutes. So with this style of cooking, it's really worth having everything laid out and prepped because it happens really quickly. And otherwise you'll end up like me, running around the kitchen like a headless chicken. So what I'm doing now is I'm prepping the sauce, which I'll be using later. And it's really simple. It's just corn flour, which I'm going to mix with a little bit of water. And then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. It's sugar, soy, and some rice vinegar. Doesn't look much now, but I promise it's going to make the most incredible sweet sort of sour sauce. We want that to go lovely and crispy. In the meantime, I'm going to slice my garlic, just slice it thinly. Making sure I don't burn the chorizo. The smells, by the way, are absolutely amazing. I don't know if you can smell it from where you are. I've also got these dried chilies. You can probably get them from larger supermarkets. You can get them from online grocery stores, Asian grocery stores as well. They might look a bit sort of fierce if you've never had them, but actually they've got a really fantastic roasted mellow flavour. You don't have to eat them, although I love to, but they just impart this wonderful flavour to the dish. You want to snip them with your scissors. And just get rid of the seeds. And depending on the size, I'm cutting them into thirds. Ooh. Coming along beautifully now. Now, if you don't have these chilies, and I think it is worth looking them out, but if you can't find them, then chili flakes are a great alternative because they also have that lovely roasted flavour. They can be quite spicy because obviously they impart their heat into the whole dish rather than sort of easily removable like these large ones. So maybe use about 1/4 teaspoon or 1/2 teaspoon for this dish. So that's done as well. So we've got the seeds removed. In here, in this pestle and mortar, I've got some Sichuan peppercorns. These have the most incredible aroma. They're sort of citrusy, grapefruity. Oh, honestly, I absolutely love it. I'm going to give them a good bash, okay? And they are best done fresh. And they add a sort of heat and warmth, but actually what they do is they add this sort of exciting, numbing, tingling sensation when you eat them. And they're very sort of common in Sichuan cooking. Honestly, it's got such a heady aroma. It really adds so much to the dish. Now that said, if you wanted to make this dish and you only had black peppercorns, you could absolutely do it with that. I love being able to sort of give alternatives to dishes. So whilst this might be the best thing to use, if you've got black peppercorns, then use that instead. So that's all prepped. Now the chorizo is cooked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that. So what you can see now is the chorizo's got lovely and crispy. It's released all of that wonderful oil. And that is going to flavour the rest of the dish. Oh, it's so delicious. Just getting it all, trying to leave the oil in the pan. Okay, great. So now for the sprouts. So I've got sprouts here. You need to remove the outer leaves and then cut them in half, okay? So I'm just going to trim the end off like that, and then it makes it a lot easier to remove the outer leaves. Okay, like so. And then I'm just going to cut that in half. And there we go. So I'm going to put this in, just be careful of the oil. These are going to take on the most beautiful flavour, and charring them, I think really charring them is the crux of it, because it develops this sort of sweetness and nuttiness that you never knew existed from sprouts. And they are an absolute world away from, you know, heavily boiled, soggy sprouts that some people, especially my dad, he'd have had them at school like that, and I think that's what's put him off. But when you have them like this and you're sort of charring them and they're not overcooked, they become a thing of beauty. So these have been on for a couple of minutes, and already you can see they're getting this fantastic colour on them. Having it at a fairly high temperature just so it can char. Whilst that's doing, I'm going to start prepping some of the panettone pudding. First of all, in this dish I've got coconut milk, okay? So I'm going to crack in an egg and whisk that. Then I'm just going to add some 5-spice. There we go. Now 5-spice is the Asian twist. There are similarities to cinnamon, of course, but it's got this star anise in it and other wonderful spices which just give it that sort of extra layer of aromatic spice. And don't worry, it's not overpowering. And actually, the good thing about this dish is it happens to be accidentally vegan if you're trying to avoid dairy. Oh, I love clementines. So we're just going to grate one in. Are they clementines or easy peelers? I never know. That smell, so amazing. Have you ever been given a panettone where you just don't know what to do with it? Yeah, I mean, this dish came about because I'd been given a panettone, and I will confess it stayed on the top of my fridge for the best part of a year. And it was completely in date, completely fine to eat, but I had no idea what to do with it actually. And I think maybe it wasn't, you know, it was a nice panettone, but not the nicest. But when you do it like this and make a sort of French toast out of it, it's absolutely stunning, and it's honestly my favourite way to eat panettone. So let's see how the sprouts are doing. They have got this wonderful colour on. Oops. Okay, so just a few more minutes on that, which is great. Now I'm going to cut the panettone. Not all panettones are made equally. You can spend a lot of money on a really good panettone, but you know, fear not. As I say, if you have one that is a bit dry, this is absolutely perfect for it. And they come in different sizes. So this is actually quite a small one. So I'm going to cut it into 4 slices from here. If you have a bigger one, then obviously you cut those slices. There we go. Oh, I've actually started liking panettone a lot more since I've sort of discovered how to use it. So we're just going to do them into sort of thickish slices, roughly 2 centimetres, like so. Oopsie, and it broken there, so that's a great learning curve for me. It's probably a good idea to leave it out for a little bit so that it gets a little bit harder, just so that it doesn't dissolve when you add it to the mixture. Not long until these are done. So this dish, it's a great dish to have. I actually have it for dinner sometimes because it's so delicious with a bowl of rice. But you can also have it as a side, as part of a larger meal. And you can prep some of this in advance and just kind of heat it up before you cook it. I would sort of slightly underdo the sprouts so that they don't overcook. Okay, so you just want some of that lovely colour on it. There we go. That is looking fantastic. Okay, and it's the cut side down which is going to get that lovely char on. So I'm just going to take these out of the pan now, okay, and put them in here. So what I'm doing now, I've had that at quite a high temperature. I'm going to lower the heat slightly because I don't want the aromatics to burn. So in goes a bit more oil. Now that's already going to be hot. It's all going to happen quite quickly from here. So I'm going to add the garlic, the Sichuan peppercorns and the ginger. So here we go with the garlic, the ginger, and the peppercorns which I ground earlier, okay? There we go. So I'm just going to fry this, just a dash more oil so it doesn't burn. Okay. This is going to release its flavours, and already it smells absolutely incredible. So for about 30 seconds, just watch the garlic doesn't burn. If you've got it on a medium temperature, you should be absolutely fine. I absolutely love the Kung-Pao sauce. So when I had this Brussels sprouts challenge, and you know, it was what dish can I do with Brussels sprouts that has an Asian twist? Right, so there we go. That's about 30 seconds. Now I'm going to add these chilies. So again, they don't smell too much now, but they are going to release the most amazing flavour. And you don't have to eat them. So if you are shy of heat, then you can just sort of leave them on the side, but they will impart this beautiful roasted element to the dish. The sauce, because it's got corn flour in it, it's going to thicken up really quickly. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit, and in we go. Just going to bubble this for a few moments. Oh, I can smell that. That's got that sweet sourness to it. I know it's going to be sticky and delicious. And I can smell the sweetness. So once that's thickened, we're then going to return everything to the pan and just coat it. And it really is as simple as that. That is thickened, and I'm going to add the Brussels sprouts now. Oh, and there's bits of chorizo. It's like gorgeous little salty gems that you kind of bite into. And just coat it. Honestly, this is such a stunning dish that whoever I've ever made this for has always fallen in love, regardless of how much they think they love Brussels sprouts. Oh, and that is it. And very finally, I'm going to add the nuts to it. These have already been roasted. I'm using peanuts here. My actual recipe uses cashews, but you know, whatever nut you happen to have to hand. So there we go. It was so simple. As you can see, it's glossy, it's sticky, it's got that sort of tang from the vinegar, it's got sweetness. This has got every flavour I absolutely love. The sweet, sour, salty, spicy. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to tuck in. Okay. Oh. There we go. Oh gosh, that looks good. So these are my Kung-Pao style sprouts with chorizo. Absolutely delicious.
Genuinely, that is so good. Try it.
Next up, we are going to do my coconut panettone pudding. We've already done most of the prep. Such an easy dish to make, perfect for a weekend treat brunch. I'm going to place this in here, and actually I'm going to squeeze it in. There we go. Just do 2 slices at a time. Okay, we don't want to overdo it. So this dish, you don't want to over soak the panettone because I've done that and it dissolves. So you just want to soak it for about a minute on each side so it gets nicely saturated but not so sort of soaked that it dissolves. I'm just going to turn this over. So while the panettone is soaking in that gorgeous coconut mixture, I'm just going to heat a little bit of butter in a pan, which we're going to then fry it in. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to carefully turn it over. Oh, that is going to be fantastic. So this is enough mixture to do 4 slices, but we're just going to do 2 at a time here. And if you can get a panettone that's got orange peel in it, then please do so. I know that orange peel can be a bit polarizing. I've done a poll with my friends and not everyone loves it, but when you have it in a kind of this French toast style, or even in a sort of panettone bread and butter pudding, I think it is absolutely delicious. So we're just heating that butter there. Okay, so now I'm going to transfer and carefully place it on. It can be a bit fragile at this point. So that's just going to cook for a couple of minutes on each side. So we want this to be lovely and golden. Not quite yet. Oh, that's going to be delicious. After you make this dish, you are going to be wishing you get panettone whenever people come over the Christmas period. So I always go to Scotland with my husband. I've been doing that for a very long time now. He's got a big family over there and they've got really fantastic Christmas traditions. We don't have panettone, but we do have homemade mince pies. My favourite part of Christmas Day is actually the canapes, of course. So we have a glass of fizz, although I have just given up alcohol. for the foreseeable. We'll see if it still lasts to Christmas. I'm a sucker for champagne, so that's always going to be the slight problem. Right, so however long that was, I'm just going to turn it over like so. Oh, that is going to be fantastic. See if you need a little bit more butter on the other side as well. Honestly, this is a heavenly breakfast, brunch. Sometimes when I'm making a dish like this for the whole family, I've got 3 kids, I will use two rings on the stove to maximise my time doing it. It's warming, it's really Christmassy, even though 5 spice isn't traditionally associated with Christmas here in the UK. It's just got it certainly has a Christmassy smell because it's got those cloves in it, I think, and cinnamon. Wow. There we go. So I'm just going to plate this up. Okay. Now, if you were having this for dessert, which I fully recommend because it is that delicious, you could have it with a scoop of ice cream. Panettone, I haven't added any extra sweetness to the mixture for the French toast because panettone can be quite sweet, and I want to save it for a drizzle of honey afterwards, which I absolutely love the sort of texture of the honey on top. If you were doing a vegan version, then of course use plant-based butter, and you can use agave or maple syrup. Fantastic. Okay, so we're ready to go. Just like that. So I'm just going to dust it with a bit of icing sugar there, which is going to add that sweetness, and serve it with a drizzle of honey. I'm just finishing it off with a few raspberries to make it look nice and to add a gorgeous hint of freshness. So this is my coconut panettone French toast. Right, do I have to share this? This is mine. That is a brilliant way of eating panettone. Hope you make it. Hope you have a fantastic Christmas.